Okay, so we have a question today. Other clients always ask us, do you strip the tub or you just sanding it down? What is your best answer for that?
I would prefer stripping the tub. That's what I would prefer. An example, you could sand down the tub the best you can, 220, feather it out. But when you, depending what kind of coating are you using, and depending what materials on the tub, when you spray that primer, sometimes it curls up, peels up. Even though you feather it to 20, whatever you do to the tub to prep it well, it still bubbles up. It has a chemical reaction. So I don't want to risk that. So I'd rather just strip the tub. The only problem is that it's a lot of refinishers can't find a good stripper. Before you used to go buy it off of Home Depot and Lowe's, but unfortunately they don't sell it anymore. So
They could still use it.
I mean, they could still use it, but I mean, you're gonna be there for a pretty good minute.
Yeah.
Just stripping the tub, and that's just hard labor, and you're gonna eventually end up sanding it down, trying to bond over now whatever that you basically left it chipped on. Try to scrape it, try to feather it the best you can, or you could use maybe a very high built primer just to cover a lot of the imperfections. But it's just.
Yeah, but the client asked the fiberglass. They said fiberglass. Can it be stripped? Why we don't strip fiberglass?
We don't strip fiber, which Hawk, just to let you know, they do sell fiber stripper. But the reason why we don't strip is that even though you could use those plastic razor blades, it still leave a little it leaves scratches on the edges. So imagine you're gonna have to basically, depending on your client, if they're so picky and they see all those fine little finish, like those scratches on the edges of the razor blade when you try to scrape the paint off, they're gonna complain about that. I'd rather just send it down, do the best I can, let them know that I cannot promise you that it will be perfect.
So the surfaces like cast iron, porcelain are the only one could be stripped, right? Because fiberglass,
Correct.
because of the stripper itself, could ruin the surface itself.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And another question, do you remove caulking before reglazing, and why?
Yes, we do. Like an example, if the bathtub needs to be reglazed, we do remove the caulking. Now, an example, if the tub has a big gap, I usually don't like to remove it. I just cut a little bit in the edges. The reason why I don't like to remove it is that it leaves a big gap. Yeah, people could stuff stuff inside for nothing blows out, but when you connect that compressor to your spray gun, it automatically, depending what gun it is, what you're using. Me, I'm using a Graco, so automatically it shoots out air pressure, so without me hitting the trigger. So by the time I get to the tub and ready to spray, it's already releasing that air pressure, so we'll blow out anything that is in that gap, and all that dust debris will fall into your finish. Basically, it's gonna feel like all sandpaper. It's gonna be horrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last questions for today. Hardware. I know we are not licensed plumber. We always suggest the client to have a licensed plumber remove the hardware. Why do you suggest to remove hardware? Can you explain that, please? And why you don't remove hardware, which is I already answered that question.
Well, I suggest that to remove the hardware will be better for basically the finish to seal, especially around the drain, because sometimes water sits around the drain, so that's more common that it start peeling around the drain. Also the overflow. The reason why we don't remove the drain is because we're not licensed plumber. I mean, God forbid that you try to remove one, it's very easy. I mean, it's all you do is just a twist. So God forbid that you snap a pipe, you're basically liable to pay for that. I mean, it is this big issue, and I rather not go through it. I'd rather stay away from it. Get yourself a licensed plumber to do that, and then you can call us.